shit.
About, well, I don't even know what my question technically
I
was.
know, because I
But
keep
no. But it's all, but like about like, well, and I was just gonna
oh,
say yes. Go on.
oh, so here we go. I'm back on track. So Ginger then came to us and said, "Oh, Miles wants you guys to open for the police. What do you think?" And we're like, "Are you kidding? Yeah, we want to open for the police." So we dumped our 16-seater van, which we wrecked a couple times. It was terrible, and started touring with the police. And we were opening for them in 20,000 seat arenas all over the country. And what started changing was, you know how when you go to a show, you usually don't go to see the opener, you're there to see the main act. Well, people started coming to see the opening act as well, and that was us. And it was the perfect package, you know? I mean, great pop songs with great rhythms and powerhouse drumming and the whole thing. We were a perfect package. And that elevated us to sort of the next level of we got on Saturday Night Live, and then we sold 1 million records, in a month after that, and it started happening really quickly after that. That changed the trajectory of the band like majorly.
Was there one moment like defining, or was it like, oh, we're opening for the police and now people are coming for us, where you were like, fame and like, wait, like people know our names, we're being stopped in the street? Like, do you have that first memory of like, holy shit, like this is really happening?
I don't have I'm surprised I can remember anything, to be honest with you. But and I really mean that. But I just remember my overall feeling was like, oh my God, my parents are proud of me. I know they're proud of me. Look where I'm playing in places that I went to as a kid to see other bands play. Like one of a major show in my mind was playing at Meriwether Post Pavilion in Columbia, Maryland, because that's where I saw my first show. Zeppelin opening for the Who, which is a one time. You know what I just found out like 6 months ago? That was a one time deal. I stupidly had thought, oh, maybe they were doing a tour together because that was the first year that Zeppelin came over to the States. But that was a one time show only. That only ever happened once. And my brother took me to that show. So
Wow.
several many years later, I'm playing on the same stage as the first show I ever saw, which changed my life. Um,
Wow.
that was big. Another big moment was playing Madison Square Garden and selling it out in the round, and my parents being there, sitting on the side of the stage. That was pretty amazing to me. Selling out the Hollywood Bowl. These were milestones, and in anyone's career, they're big things. Of
Yeah.
course, Harry Styles sells out 50 nights in a row, but that's Harry. You gotta love Harry, right?
I've got a question about Harry later because I know you're a Harry fan.
Oh, I am. I am.
Well, after Beauty and the Beat, we had Vacation, we had Talk Show, like, during the height of, look, there's been so much written about, like you mentioned drugs earlier, right? Like drugs were a part of the scene, they're a part of the
They were.
business, they
They
were a
were.
part of your band. Like, you didn't really go to, like, I know Belinda, look, I read Belinda's book, I read Kathy's book, Charlotte's been open. It didn't seem like you really went down that road
No,
yourself.
everybody was busy doing a lot of blow, and that was not my drug. And I really wasn't that whacked out during that period of time, whereas the other girls pretty much were. And because I'm always like, I have so much energy I could explode half the time. So coke obviously is not what I'm interested in. They'd be doing coke and I'd be doing like Valium or smoking pot or something. I started to have a drug problem in the 90s when I was not, really doing much, or just sort of spotty work here and there. But we kept it together as long as we could during that decade, because we had to. And we had a machine behind us, and unfortunately that machine wasn't taking care of us in the way they should have. And there was no playbook for this. We this was a new experience, all this for us. And to be in your early 20s and have everything, get everything you want. Drugs are given to you free. You don't have to pay for anything. You're waited on hand and foot. it can get a little crazy, and it did at times. But look, we're all here to talk about it, and that's the bottom line, right? I mean, it happens.
Absolutely. I say the exact same thing you said. I'm like, no one believes me. I'm like, I've never tried cocaine. I'm like, this energy, do you think that I need it? Are you crazy? Like that's the last thing I need. Like, no, thank you.
Gotcha. I
But,
got you. And also, David, excuse me, but you've got to remember that the 80s was without a doubt the decade of excess. Everything all the time. I mean, it really was. It lived up to that.
it really was. I mean, were you then like resentful? Like, you said like this is what you wanted to do your whole life. Like you said, you were the one that said, no, we're not going to rehearse after work. We're going to rehearse 5 days a week. Like,
Yeah.
like, look, you were given such a great opportunity. Were you like, hey guys, listen, we've all been that sober person at the party, right? Like I mean, so we're like, were you like, wait, what are you guys doing? Like this is
No, because I was drinking. And
right.
I would indulge, but it wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? It just wasn't. And to be honest, I really, for me, David, music is what it's all about, man. It is my life. And I I didn't want anything to take that away from me. And, you know, like I said, we didn't have a playbook. We had nothing to go from. You can only, I wasn't sitting down. Yeah, it's true. We would have conversations, when one person wasn't in the room about they're getting a little out of hand. Our main worry was Charlotte, because she was really off the rails in a big way. And we knew she was going to die. And so things, came to a head when we were at that Rock and Rio thing, when Ozzy threw her out of her dressing room. And, I'm not saying anything. Everybody knows this about Char's life. And when she came back, we sort of were part of helping her make a decision to get her ass in rehab, because she was drinking like a quart of vodka every couple days and doing 8 balls of blow. I mean, it was nuts. She was out of control, and mixing other horrible drugs, and hiding in her house, which is what all drug addicts do. I did it. Uh, so she went to rehab once. She's only one of the, I don't even know anybody. It's only been once. She went once and she stayed sober. And I really respect her for that. Really respect her.
What's that like? Right. Because everyone knows like the Ozzy story, like the Rock and Rio and Ozzy. I mean, when Ozzy Osbourne, like on paper and you're throwing Charlotte out of a dressing room.
Yeah.
Like, was that just like we got to do something here?
Well, no, she was just a mess. She was really a mess. It was hard to get her on stage, and everybody else was doing stuff, but she was mixing it with really bad drugs. And it was bad.